Every great empire starts with a single, quiet contribution. Before you build, you must secure what you already have. The foundation is the most critical part of the structure. Potential is nothing without the right environment to grow.
Nobody starts with an inheritance. 5 steps: cold, sequential, unglamorous, and it's the only doctrine on this channel that comes with no shortcuts built in. Wealth begins with these small, often invisible steps that require patience and absolute discipline before the first signs of success ever manifest. Structural integrity is the silent partner of growth. A vessel that cannot hold its contents is a liability, not an asset. Every crack in your financial foundation represents a loss of energy and opportunity that could have been used to build your future. We must seal the leaks first. Look closely at where your capital disappears. Subscriptions you don't use, fees you haven't questioned, and habits that serve no purpose. Each one is a cut that bleeds your potential dry. Identifying them is the first act of financial war. You cannot grow what you cannot keep. Step 1. Stop the bleeding before you chase the gain. Plug every unnecessary drain before growth. Discipline is not about deprivation, it is about efficiency. A lean operation is a fast operation. Once the leaks are sealed, every new dollar stays in the vessel, working for you instead of escaping. Building the base is slow, repetitive work. It doesn't look like much to the outside world, but it is the difference between a house of cards and a fortress. Each stone must be leveled, each layer must be set. This is the stage where most people quit because they cannot see the finish line. Step 2. Build the floor. An emergency reserve that removes desperation from every decision. A reserve buys you the ability to walk away. When you aren't worried about next month's rent, you can make decisions based on strategy rather than survival. This is your first taste of true power. The world will try to tempt you to break your floor. It will offer you shiny objects and temporary status in exchange for your security. Emotional discipline is the lock on your reserve. If you cannot protect your floor, you will never have the height to build a ceiling. Stay focused on the long game. Consistency is the engine of wealth. Adding one coin at a time may seem insignificant, but the habit creates a momentum that is impossible to stop. This is the quiet satisfaction of knowing you are safe. Every addition to the box is a brick in the wall of your eventual freedom. Step 3. Increase the gap between income and expenses, not just the income. The gap is the only number that compounds. If your lifestyle rises with your paycheck, you are running faster to stay in the same place. True wealth is found in the space between what you make and what you spend. When you earn more, resist the urge to live more. A promotion is an opportunity to widen the gap, not to buy a bigger cage. The choice to remain modest while your resources grow is the ultimate flex of character. It is the secret weapon of the self-made. Maintain your trajectory. Step 4. Convert the gap into assets that don't require your presence to grow. Cash sitting still loses to inflation quietly. True wealth is built when your capital works harder than you do. Plant your seeds in fertile ground and let time do the heavy lifting for you. Growth is not a uniform process. Some assets will flourish immediately, while others remain dormant, gathering strength beneath the surface. This variance is not a failure of the system, it is the nature of the harvest. You must maintain the discipline to nurture the slow movers with the same intensity as the early winners. Patience is the silent partner in every successful portfolio, ensuring that no potential is wasted. Step 5. Protect the compounding above all else, especially from yourself. Protect the machine from its own operator. The greatest threat to your wealth isn't the market, it's the impulse to deviate when a new opportunity glitters. Discipline means holding your own hand back. You are the guardian of your future, and your primary job is to ensure the plan survives your own short-term greed. The allure of the shortcut is almost always a mirage, designed to trap the impatient. When you see the guaranteed returns of others begin to fracture, you realize that your steady, unglamorous path was the only one built on solid ground. Watching the collapse of high-risk ventures from the safety of your own fortress is the ultimate validation of the doctrine. Stability is the truest form of wealth. What you are building may not look like a palace at first. It is a house of stone, plain, sturdy, and indifferent to the elements. While others build glass towers on sand, you are carving a legacy into the bedrock. This structure represents the shift from survival to permanence. It is the physical manifestation of every crossed-out expense and every coin saved. It is your sanctuary against the world. Beside the house, the orchard begins to take shape. These are the assets you planted during the lean years, now reaching for the sun. They don't require your constant labor anymore. They simply require your protection. This is the transition point where your capital begins to work harder than you ever could. The quiet rustle of leaves is the sound of wealth compounding in the background of your life. True wealth is not a pile of gold, it is an immovable system. Like roots growing through iron, your financial foundation must become inseparable from the earth itself. It should be so deeply integrated into your reality that no economic storm can dislodge it. This vault isn't just for storage, it is a symbol of total security. Once the roots take hold, the structure becomes a permanent part of the landscape. As the system matures, it begins to thrive on its own. The growth around the vault is effortless, a natural byproduct of a well-maintained environment. You no longer chase prosperity. Prosperity resides where you have built the proper home for it. The atmosphere of your life changes from one of pursuit to one of stewardship. You are no longer building the machine, you are witnessing its optimal performance. Even at this stage, the world will try to tempt you back into the gamble. Flashy offers and complex schemes will arrive, promising to accelerate what is already working. The expert knows that the fastest way to lose everything is to try to double it too quickly. Pushing away the scroll is the final act of mastery. You have nothing left to prove and everything to protect. 5 steps, no shortcuts hidden in the margins. You can name the sequence now. It is the repetitive work of nurturing the trees you have already planted. While others search for new fields, you focus on your own. Consistency is the magic in a world obsessed with the immediate. Look beneath the surface. The strength of the tree is in the complexity of its roots. A solid financial foundation is often invisible to the casual observer. It is the hidden network of reserves and discipline that holds everything upright when the winds of change begin to howl. Resilience is the ability to remain unshaken. When your system is mature, you can face the unknown with a calm heart. The seasons may change, but your position is fixed. This is the reward for the unglamorous steps. You have built a life that is no longer fragile. The rest is just doing it for longer than feels necessary, starting today. The path is marked, and the steps are worn by those who understood the long game. There is no mystery left, only the execution of the doctrine. Each step is a commitment to your future. Your presence on this path is the only variable left. The shadow you cast over these steps is proof of your progress. You have moved from the dark room to the heights of the stone staircase. The journey has transformed you. You are the architect of this climb. The dawn of independence is a quiet, golden event. It is the moment you realize the machine is fully operational and the house is secure. The light of the sun reveals what you have accomplished through simple discipline. The struggle is over. Stability has begun. A home that stands, a system that works, a life that is finally truly your own. The smoke from the chimneys signals that the fire is lit and the work is done. You have followed the doctrine to its conclusion. This is the end of the beginning.